everybody, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Anu, and this channel is all about living with vision loss. So if this is your first time here, thanks so much for stopping by. I hope you take a moment and subscribe. To the rest of you who have given me your support, thank you so much. It means a lot. So today what I thought I'd talk about is a lot of questions that come up about vision loss in general. And so what I thought I would do is just go through a bunch of questions that I have been asked over the years, and other people I'm sure have also been asked. So I hope this will help to dispel some of those preconceived notions that you may have. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and use my computer, and you're probably wondering how I do use a computer, and so stay tuned. That will be discussed in a future video, but for now I'm going to go ahead and just get started. Okay. So question number one, do blind people count their steps when they're outside? No, the answer is that we are taught to navigate by feeling the different textures in the ground and also by identifying landmarks. And these skills are all taught with the support of an orientation and mobility trainer who goes through a fair bit of intense training to teach blind people and visually impaired people how to navigate safely outdoors. So we also listen to sound and, as I mentioned, locating different landmarks. So it's a really interesting way of getting around, but I'm so glad I have learned this skill because it has enabled me to navigate outdoors independently, which helps me get to work. Okay, second question. When people lose their vision, do their other senses become stronger or do they become heightened? The answer to that is no. Our senses do not become heightened. We just learn to use our senses a little bit differently. For visual people, they have all these different things that distract them, like the trees and the flowers and people, and which is nothing wrong with that. I think it's wonderful. But for people with no vision, we don't have all those distractions. So we just have to learn to use our senses a little differently. So our hearing, we have to listen to traffic, for example, when we're crossing streets, and sometimes certain smells, like if you might pass by Starbucks or Subway, that always has a very distinct smell as well. So that sometimes helps us find out exactly where we are. Okay, the next question is, do all blind people read Braille? Well, the short to that is that no. I think Braille is a really excellent skill to have. It really helps to maintain literacy, and definitely when you're making speeches, it's wonderful to have that skill. But the reality is with the advancement in technology, say for example with computer software, tablets, iPhone for example, many people really resort on these devices now rather than using Braille, especially for some people who lost their vision later on in life. They prefer to use these other types of technologies, whereas children in elementary school, they are encouraged to use Braille from the get-go. And I think that's really good because, like I mentioned, it is a great way to maintain and increase your literacy levels. So for myself, I do know how to read what we call grade 1 Braille, which is the first level. And I'm so glad I can at least do that. But if you were to give me a big sheet of paper or a book, I definitely can assure you that I would be lost because it is a little difficult, but definitely not impossible because people are doing it. And I really, really admire people who have this skill. And I will get there one day, but not there yet. There's way too many things on my list to do. But I'll get there. Okay. Next question is, can blind people prepare meals? Now this is a question that I get asked very often. And yes, the question is absolutely yes. We are able to prepare meals. I personally do really enjoy cooking and baking as well. But I'm fortunate that I live with a husband who also loves to cook. And he actually says that it releases his stress levels. So when I don't want to cook, I kind of ask him, "Are you feeling a little stressed today? Like maybe you need to kind of do something to release that. So maybe you need to cook me something." So that ends up working out quite well. But fortunately, he really enjoys it. But we also cook together as well, which is kind of fun too. And how do people with vision loss cook? Well, that would be shown or demonstrated in other videos to come. But at CNIB, the place where I work, we provide vision loss rehabilitation therapy, and in that within those programs, we have independent living skills specialists who provide people with the skills to be able to learn how to cook safely. So they use things like different cutting techniques, and they use contrast and a whole variation of things, skills, sorry, that they teach their students or their clients. We also teach people how to label their appliances as well, and those are things that skills that I use as well, which I will show in other videos, as I mentioned. You also may remember that in MasterChef Canada had a winner who happened to be blind, Christine Ha. So I thought that was pretty incredible as well. Another question that gets asked very often is, when is it appropriate to help somebody who is having difficulty, right? So someone who can't see. My answer to that is, when in doubt, ask. Sometimes there are people who just may be getting their bearings. So for example, when I'm in an unfamiliar area, I may stop for a second and, look around my surroundings just to get a sense of like where I am. And at times what has happened is people have grabbed my arm and they're pulling me. They're thinking that I want to cross a certain way, but really I want to go that way. So don't make assumptions at the end of the day. It's just best to ask the person, do they need help? Because they may not. Especially for somebody who is just beginning to learn orientation mobility and is in the beginning phases of just navigating getting out there on their own, their confidence level may be kind of on the lower side, and so they may really appreciate that help. So like I said, when in doubt, just ask. Can people with vision loss be good parents? Yes, absolutely. I know many people with vision loss who are fabulous parents. The thing to remember here is that we can do pretty much anything that a person with vision can do. We just do things a little differently. So the same thing goes for parenting. Okay? Can people with vision loss work? Yes, I am one of those people. I have a full-time job, and I work in a fairly demanding position as well. There are other people who are working in professions like law, upper management type positions. The list goes on and on and on, even in the medical field. So there's lots of things that people with vision loss can do. It's just about looking at a person's skill set, and that, again, I'm going to be talking about employment in other videos to come as well. But the short answer is yes, we absolutely can work. And many people have education as well that gives them the skills to be able to work in a particular career. Okay, those basket weaving days are over. How do people with vision loss use a computer? So as I mentioned earlier in my when I began this video, you may be wondering how I use a computer. I use a software called JAWS, which stands for Jobs Accessed with Speech. And basically this is a screen reading software that enables a person to use a computer with keyboard and sound. So I don't have to click a mouse like sighted people do, but I can still perform the same tasks with my keyboard here. So through sound, I can hear what is on my screen, and that's why I have my notes, because I'd love to say that I have an elephant's memory, but I don't. So that's why I need my notes. And so I'm able to use the internet and Excel and PowerPoint and Word, of course, and use the internet, and also participate in social media. So if you haven't checked out my Facebook page, do check it out, because I do post there regularly as well, and I'll put the link below in the description box for you all as well. So do check it out, and please follow me as well. And know that, yeah, absolutely, we do use computers, and for the majority of us, that's how we stay connected with the world. That's how I get all my news, figure out what's going on in the world. So yes, it's a fabulous skill to have, and I'm so glad that this technology is available, because for me it has opened so many doors. It has allowed me to go back to school a few times, and as I mentioned in my first video, I'm still in school, so it really has opened many, many doors. Okay, so I'm going to leave it at that. There are so many more questions that come up, and if you have a particular question, please do write it down here, maybe in the comment box, or you can send me a message on Facebook, and I'd be happy to answer your questions, because it's like, Johari's window. You don't know what you don't know. So please never be afraid to ask. So I hope this video has been helpful. Thank you again so much for all of your support. I hope you'll come back. And until next time, have a fabulous day. Bye.